The Hoover Board of Education meeting is now called to order. If you choose to do so, will you please join me in a moment of silence? Thank you.
At this time, I'll ask everyone to stand for our pledge. Salute and pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You have before you the agenda for today's board meeting. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
so moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The agenda is approved. Mr. Sweeney has advised the board that there is a need for an executive session. He has provided a certificate of compliance. Do I have a motion for the board to convene into an executive session?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We will now recess for the session. Mr. Sweeney, how long do you anticipate?
I hope 20 minutes. If it looks like it's going to be longer to finish all of the business, we may want to reconvene the public meeting in order to recess to finish the executive session. But because there are so many other things to be covered today in the public session and with the distinguished people that we have, let's try to limit it to 20 minutes.
Yes, sir. Thank you. The time is 4:35.
Buddies had to wait so long. They're coming out now. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you to everyone for allowing the board to take time early on this meeting to address some important issues at hand. We'll now continue with our board meeting. At this time, we've got a recognition. Dr. Ron Dodson, Assistant Superintendent, will begin. Dr. Dodson.
Dr. Johnson, if I can, for a second, we can start first of all. I think the board would be remiss if we did not take the opportunity to say a special thanks to a particular young lady that has served on this board for 10 years, has dedicated her time and service to our kids in this great city of Hoover. Before I get started, we got to say this. There's a reason why a lot of us are wearing green, is because that is Donna Fraser's favorite color. So we wanted to make sure this is a special event for you. At this time, I will ask Donald Sweeney to approach. I believe he has served alongside Donna a lot more years than any current board members.
My marching orders from Derek were to do two things. Say a few words in tribute to Donna, and to wear green, Donna's favorite color. And if I look like an undecorated Christmas tree, it's because Derek told me to come in green. But it's a celebration for me to talk about someone that I truly adore and have adored working with for the last 8 years. Yesterday was Mother's Day. Last week, Amy Chewin, the original Tiger mother, came and spoke to Birmingham. 8 years ago, our Tiger mother, Donna Fraser, was appointed to this board. At the outset of her tenure, Donna did not come to this table professing to be a professional educator with expertise in curriculum or methodology of teaching. What she brought, what her credentials were, in major part was that she was a very, very successful and dedicated mother of two children that had gone through the Hoover school system, or were going through the Hoover school system, that had achieved paramount accomplishments. Donna had been in every aspect of the Hoover schools as they progressed through, and she brought those attributes of a mother to this, her tenure as the school board member in multiple ways, which I'll emphasize in just a minute. But Donna also brought a sense of style and decorum to this board when she assumed the office. And while style and decorum may not be at the top of the rung of some people, the fact that Donna represented us in so many ways, and the way that she did at these board meetings, at district meetings, at state and national meetings, to be our representatives with her gracious manner and style that she did, was a source of pride for me, and I know for all of us, that she was our ambassador. All great mothers are designated women and designated warriors. All great mothers are designated warriors. And Donna has been a warrior day and night these last 8 years about this school system. I can't truly quantify the number of emails that I've gotten from Donna after midnight and before 5 in the morning when she gets up to do her exercise, and before she can attend to her personal agenda. She's been attending to this agenda for this board. She has been a consummate warrior to the benefit of this system. And all good mothers who have multiple children, who are active in so many things, have to be masters at scheduling and coordinating things that are going on. And Donna has brought that strength and asset to this board throughout her 8 years. And looking at details, preparing checklists, outlining what steps need to be done, and worrying about whether they've been accomplished through the critical path that she has in her mind. And we've all seen that as she announced right after Andy Craig's departure that this search for the superintendent was going to start on a particular date, go through the critical path steps, and be consummated before she left the board. And Kathy, we are so lucky that Donna has had that scheduling and coordination of that to make it happen. This was a real strength for Donna throughout this period. Like a good mother, Donna has been a person that cares so profoundly about people. She has been somewhat the public relations person for the board, worrying constantly about board interaction, about board and superintendent interaction, and the board's relationship and interaction with the staff and the public. And through that, she has accomplished positive, constructive results as she's guided us through all of the tensions and travails and challenges of the last 8 years. If I were to do a profile of Donna, I would say she's passionate and caring, persistent and loyal. And of those traits, loyalty to her sense of values and to what she thinks is moral and fitting for someone who has the profound spiritual constitution that she does, has always guided her thoughts and served as her frame of reference in the many things that we have discussed over these years. And that loyalty to her values probably brought me closest to the edge of excommunication during my 25 years plus of representing this board, when I had to suggest to Donna that maybe we ought to go from silent prayer to silent, a moment of silence. And prayer was so important to her that the dialogue that we had on that was something that went to the very core of her value system. What does Donna leave as her legacy? Be civil. Be diligent and persistent in these important issues. Be fair, be gentle, and be kind. Thank you, Donna. You have served your school system so well, and we are indeed indebted to your passion and dedication. Thank you.
Not to take up too much time, but I would like to introduce some special guests here on behalf of Donna, her husband, John Frazier, in the back. She has 3 daughters, Haley, Kendall, and Mackenzie. Former board members Susie Baker, Tom Delfno, and Paulette Pearson. Senator Jabbo Wagner, David Faulkner, and Jack Williams. Now, I want to share just one thing, which I had to share some personal things about Donna, and the best person that I can call is, of course, her husband, John Frazier. But have you ever thought a conversation was going in this direction and then start floating into the opposite direction in which you wasn't expecting? I think that's the conversation that I had with John Frazier. And the best way I can describe it is, gentlemen, you remember being in high school when going on that first date and you had to talk to that dad for the first time, you had that long conversation. And sometimes you met in the kitchen and sometimes you might have met at the shooting range. But now if I had to ask any of you guys to get up here and give that speech, you probably could only share 10% of it because 90% would not be appropriate for this microphone. So what I'll do, I'll share the 10% that I can share about Don, and I can understand where he's coming from. Just could you imagine having a 16, 17-year-old Earl Cooper showing up at your door, taking your daughter out? So let me share the 10% I can share. The phone rung. I said, hello. He said, hello, this is John Frazier. I said, hello, John Frazier. This is Derek Murphy. Hello, Derek Murphy. How are you doing? Fantastic. I said, I want to share a couple of things with you. Actually, a couple of things about Donna, because we're going to present her at the next board meeting. And that was the end of the 10% of the conversation. That was good. The rest of it went to me like a wild barracuda about his wife. I think at the end of it, the only thing I can say is I have her back before 6, sir. But what he did share with me is Pete and Pat Cook, Donna's parents, were the love of her life. As you know, Pete Cook passed away in November 2013. And the very same things that aggravated Donna about Pete is the same personality she has right now. That Montgomery hard-headed personality. And for Pat, seeing the mission all the way through is something she gravitated towards the most. John Frazier shared with me that Donna is a committed person due to that. She's an entrepreneur, she's a mother, she's a wife, and she gave 10 years on the board, so he's ecstatic to get her back finally. So this time, I want to have 3 gifts for you, Donna, and Jason with the green tie. Here comes the first one.
Ms. Frazier, I can't add any more to what's already been said. I will say I'm very impressed at how you've come to handle the media during your 10 years. You are very solid from that perspective, and you've represented us well. This plaque here reads, in appreciation to Donna Frazier, who has served Hoover City Schools with honor and distinction as a school board member from June 2005 to May 2015. Our appreciation and heartfelt thanks accompany this expression of gratitude. Hoover City Schools.
And second, from the board, the day couldn't be perfect without something special. Mr. Cooper?
Are we gonna sing?
It's funny you mentioned that. John, I'm sure this is redundant after yesterday, but just in case you're off the hook, man. Thank you very much for all you've done. This looks like just a dozen yellow roses, but we're all going to join Stephen in singing the Yellow Rose of Greystone.
And the final here from the board, do I have Jeremy Morton available here? Wasn't able to make it. Jeremy Morton is a 12th grader at Hoover High School, very talented artist there. And we wanted to encompass a special gift for you that you can remember. So at this time. And then, as you can see, her clothing represents Spain Park and Hoover High School.
We have a long agenda tonight, so I'm going to keep this short. First off, I have some family members that drove here from out of town, and I want all of you to see my family up close. John, come on. Elizabeth, my sister-in-law. My daughter Kendall with our newest addition, my new grandbaby. He's 5 months old, Lulu. I think her husband John, my son-in-law's here. John, oh, come on. Come on down front. Come on. This is my mother, Pat Cook from Montgomery. Mom, she'll come up here. My youngest daughter, Mackenzie. Mackenzie, stand up, dog. And my sister, Lisa. We're Lucy and Ethel. My oldest daughter, Hattie, that's in Nashville, could not be with us. My brother, obviously, my sister-in-law's here to represent him, but from the bottom of my heart, all I can say, this has been the most special journey, and it's these people that are standing here with me today that have allowed me to sit at that board table for 10 years. And for all of you here in the audience, thank you for everything. Hoover City Schools, I told someone earlier, I'll always have a deeper appreciation for educators. No one in my family was an educator, so I did not realize until I came onto the school board just how important everyone in this district is. And thank you for what you do for our children every single day. And thank you for making me feel extremely special, not just today, but for the last 10 years that I've served. Thank you so much.
And last thing upstairs, we have a reception for Donna Frazier after this meeting.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Frazier.
Thank you.
Everything. As the closing days of the 2014-15 school year draw near, we have fewer opportunities to share the great things that our students have been doing this year and our teachers. So we have a few last ones to bring before you today, just to let you know about all the great things our kids are up to. First of all, I'd like to ask Dr. Fancher and company from Bluff Park Elementary School, Ms. McGowan, Ms. Littlejohn, and our representative from Team Green. Bluff Park Elementary School has just become our third school in the district to be awarded with the Green Ribbon Award. This is a recognition for environmental concern. I've seen the application that they have to fill out to do this, and it's worse than your income tax nightmare. It's amazing the amount of work they have to put into it, and the kids have to do so much committed to this. And we were talking a little bit before the meeting, and some of the kids are actually at Simmons now, who helped start this whole effort. So they're going to go to Montgomery, I think, this week to pick up the flag that they will fly proudly as Hoover's third Green Ribbon School recipient in the state of Alabama. So congratulations, Dr. Fancher and Team Green. We have talked about and celebrated our theater kids several times this year. We have just a few more to bring in here at the end who just continue to rack up these regional honors. We have 3 students from Spain Park High School and their teacher, Mr. St. John's. So Connor Mahoney, Asia Rodriguez, and Sam Hankins, can you come down along with Mr. St. John? These individuals competed in the Southeastern Theater Conference, I guess, I don't know what the word would be, championship, tournament, whatever you want to call it, competition. But as they have done in so many other opportunities where they've represented the school district, they've excelled exceedingly. For Connor Mahoney and Asia Rodriguez, they were both selected as members of the All-Star cast. So for the 2 of you, congratulations. We want to recognize that. And Sam Hankins was recognized as the Best Supporting Actor at the Southeastern Theater Conference. So congratulations to all of you, and thank you for representing Spain Park High School and Hoover City Schools. Thank you, Mr. St. John. And we also have a team from Hoover High School, Mr. Rutsky, and his Scholars Bowl team, if you guys can be making your way forward. This group has done so many things, but they're here today for several reasons, but the main one is you are looking at the Alabama State Champion Scholars Bowl team. So along with our football and basketball team and track and all of the things that we have going on at that level, these are your champion Scholar Bowl members for 2015. So let's give them a big round of applause. Mr. Rutsky started this program many years ago. We were reminiscing, and I think we started off, Mr. Rutsky, with 4 or 5 kids in a lunch period. None of the kids wanted to give up any of their class time to do this, so he has put in incredible hours and just years of time. We're blessed with so many teachers in this district who go way above and beyond for what they give their kids, and Mr. Rutsky is one of those that I would point to as an exemplar of excellence on so many levels. Amongst this team, we have a particular team member who was selected as an all-state team member. That's Beryl Van Ness. So congratulations, Beryl. And finally, Mr. Rutsky himself. You're going to have to find your way around here, Josh. Mr. Rutsky himself, even though he stands behind this team, he is their coach. It's nice when a coach every once in a while gets the kind of recognition that they deserve. And Josh has been recognized by a national organization, the Partnership for Academic Competitive Excellence. He is the national winner of the Benjamin Cooper Academic Ambassador Award. This award, I believe it was awarded for the efforts that he's given to building up this organization in the state of Alabama, and improving competition within the state, and in particular his work with new teams and advisors, helping them get started to build this program. So he's just raising more competition for himself. But he's a good man for it. So congratulations, Josh. Glad that you're recognized for that. Thank you for representing Hoover High School and Hoover City Schools. I'm going to turn the podium over to Mr. Hewlin now. Don?
Thank you. I had the opportunity last weekend to attend the AHSA state track meet, both boys and girls in Gulf Shores. And what a great weekend for Hoover High School and Hoover City Schools. As our boys team, boys outdoor track team, and our girls outdoor track team both won state championships at the meet over a 3-day meet, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So I want to congratulate those guys. Coach Hine is not here tonight. He's our head coach of both girls and boys. The decathlon, state decathlon is going on at our school as we speak, and he is there. But I have Coach Carl Floyd, who works with both of our teams, kind of give you a kind of synopsis of what went on last weekend. Coach.
First of all, I just want to say thank you for having us. This year was a very dominant year for both our boys and girls. Our girls set numerous state and national records. Last year, our girls 4x4 shuttle hurdle relay set the national record. That was recently broken this year, but our girls outdoor, the same team, went to California and set the top 5 national record for the shuttle hurdle relay. We had very dominant performances at our state meet, too many to mention. Records set and rebroken throughout the year, and every athlete just worked their hardest to put their best work when it mattered the most. So thank you.
And again, I'll just say something about the boys team since Coach Hine isn't here. We weren't nearly as dominant. It came down to, I think, the next to last race where we finally realized that we had enough points going into the last event that we were going to win by 8 or 9 points. So it was very, very tough. Kids competed that day that had PRs both Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and we needed every single point on the boys level to actually win that event. And we did, and they did a great job. So just congratulations, Coach, and your staff, and congratulations. Thanks, guys, for letting us be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Patrick Kellogg. Our AD at Stone Park.
Thank you, Ms. Frazier. First of all, congratulations on your years of service. Thank you for being our champion. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
On behalf of our principal, Dr. Ken Jarnigan, I'd like to introduce our head track and field and cross-country coach, Michael Zelak, for the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Kellogg. I appreciate you guys welcoming us here tonight, and it's a privilege to honor Daniel tonight for his individual accomplishments in the 800 meter. He's our individual state champion. I'd also like to throw out that we actually helped Hoover win the team title because Daniel was able to take down two very good 800 meter runners from Auburn. So without Spain Park here coaching, you know I'm telling you the truth. Daniel's win in the 800 was critical for us as a team and also critical for Hoover City. And it's just a privilege to be able to work with a young man like Daniel who ran a 154 half mile. Just shy of our school record, but we have another year with this young man and we're looking forward to it. So Daniel, congratulations. We're all very proud of you.
At this time, I'd like to welcome Jefferson County Manager, Mr. Tony Patelis, former mayor of Hoover. Mr. Patelis, before you get up, I see you brought some heavyweights with you, didn't you?
I did.
I'll introduce it this time if you want me to.
Sure.
We have Senator Jebo Wagner, dear friend of mine, thank you. Senator Wagner. We also have former state representative Paul DeMarco. Paul, did you come in? Okay, good. Thank you. We have state representative Jack Williams. Thank you, sir. And state representative David Faulkner. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Mr. Patelis, at this time.
First, I want to say it's great to be back at Hoover, and it's good to see so many familiar faces, and congratulations to the students in the school system. Hoover's a great place to live and raise your family. And Don, I was mayor when you were appointed 10 years ago, and I enjoy watching you and your service to Hoover School. And I want to, at this, since I have a microphone, just go ahead and say thank you for your service to the city of Hoover and the Hoover school system. We have a bill in the legislature, and I'm going to be as brief as I can to be glad to answer any questions that you have. But 10 years ago, the Jefferson County Commission voted on a 1 cent sales tax. That 1 cent sales tax, they took it and borrowed $1 billion, then divided that money with all the school systems in Jefferson County, every system in Jefferson County based on daily population. That bond issue that was issued a little over 10 years ago, today it's $600 million is still the debt on it. We have an opportunity, the Jefferson County Commission has an opportunity today to refinance that debt. If we refinance the debt today, the timing is good because the interest rates are low, but also it gives us an opportunity to do something for the county that we haven't been able to do ever since we lost occupation tax. The occupation tax in Jefferson County generated about $75 million a year for the county. With that occupation tax, it provided valuable services to the people of the county. But also when we lost the revenue with the fall of the economy, our budget went from over $300 million to under $200 million a year. We went from 4,000 employees to 1,500 employees today. And we're struggling in the county. We have a balanced budget. We've streamlined the county. We've done what we had to do. We have a new form of government. The new form of government, county manager form of government, is working well. And the dark cloud and all the controversy that we had in the past with the convictions, with the county employees and commissioners, that's behind us now. And now is the time for us to grow the county and be proud of the county and make Jefferson County a county that we're proud of. We don't need the occupation tax. We need $36 million a year. That's the amount of money that we need. So with this refinancing, it's like refinancing your house. You go further into the future with the debt that we would we will take $36 million of that for our general fund. Then we can rebuild the county with economic development in the county. And I know our legislators here today can attest to the fact that you look at Mobile County, you look at Madison County, you look at Montgomery County, they've done an excellent job with economic development. But it's pretty hard to have economic development and recruiting when you have the cloud of bankruptcy and all the other issues that we had going in the county. So this is a golden opportunity for us to move Jefferson County into the future and move us so that we can make it a county that we're proud of. But with the refinancing, also the school systems that are in Jefferson County will receive $18 million. Hoover school system would receive approximately $2.4 million a year, every year. And it just depends on, what the sales tax brings in. So these numbers are rough. And then there will be a fund set up for projects in the community in Jefferson County that could go back to the school system, or to the city, or to the parks, or to other public use funds that can be used in that. And then $2 million a year will go to transit, and $500,000 a year will go to the zoo. The zoo is a great tourist attraction, in the Birmingham area, and it's a great facility. And so with this, we can refinance the debt. The school systems can receive money every year. The county can solve our problem that we have, and then also do some good in the community and bring Jefferson County and move it into the future. So that's what this is about. It passed the House last week, and it is scheduled to be on the House floor, I believe, this week. And this is an opportunity. If we don't do it this year and interest rates goes up, then trying to do it next year or another year, it may not be possible to do it, because then as interest rates goes up, it doesn't become practical. So that's what we're doing in the county, and working with the legislature, and they've been great partners with us in trying to solve our issue of how do we rebuild Jefferson County in the light of the bankruptcy and other issues that we had in the past. Be glad to answer any questions from the board members.
Tony, first of all, thank you for everything you did from being mayor. Thank you for what you did stepping in down at the county. That was a piece of leadership and guidance that everybody needed. You mentioned the fund setup for the county. You alluded to public use. Who makes the decision on where that portion of the money goes?
There's going to be a committee set up by the legislature that will make the determination on those. And it goes, it's for public use. It can be schools, it can be the city, it can be police departments, sheriff's departments, parks and recs, anything of public use. So that fund will be from a committee from the legislature.
I've heard discussion that there's been a portion of this funding that will go for discretionary use by local politicians.
Well, what the fund that's been set up, the $3.6 million, there'll be a committee working with the legislature to make sure that those funds are used appropriately. So whatever you want to call it, it's a fund that will be at the discretion of the legislature from Jefferson County.
And I'll just say this from a personal perspective, not speaking on behalf of the board, but on a personal level, I understand exactly the challenges of economic development, image, and everything around Jefferson County and the bankruptcy and all of it before you and some other people. And at the end of the day, most of these situations, it's all where you sit. And unfortunately, I sit here, and my perspective is this. In the city of Hoover, for example, the amortization of the remaining $600 million is getting paid down fairly quickly. It won't extend out probably, maybe 7, 8 years max?
I think it's 11 years.
Well, yeah, okay, well, long and short, my thought is, if you do the time value of money, the $2.4 million over that period of time versus what the city of Hoover would be able to do if they locally approved that 1 cent sales tax just in Hoover, which would equate close to $20 million a year. That's the dilemma I've got with it. I feel the need for Jefferson County, because I live in Jefferson County, and we all rise and fall accordingly. And yet, again, I'm conflicted because of where I sit. So that's just me.
And I understand that. Any other questions?
Yes, sir. I had the same question as Mr. Cooper. We've got an educational sales tax, and you wanted to change or divert it into a county general fund with dispersals. From sitting on the school board, why would we not try to keep the 1% devoted to education and not give it to Jefferson County? Obviously, a very good city government we have now, no question, but the past is pretty tight.
Well, again, it was the Jefferson County Commission it was the commission who made that decision. It wasn't the legislature that voted for that. And it was the work of the Jefferson County who set that up. You know, times change, things happen and things have changed over the last 10 years. And this was an opportunity, without going and recruiting another tax out there, whether it's an occupation tax or another sales tax or whatever. We have shown the legislature and the public that you know, we are operating much more efficiently, but we need help in order to grow the county. And when we grow the county, it's going to help. It's going to help the cities. It's going to help the school systems in doing this.
Is the percentage of these dispersals, or is the basis, does it stay the same percentage, or is it portion that comes off the top if revenue, sales tax falls, collections fall? Is the dispersal from the basis stay the same percentage?
No, the basis is the same throughout.
Okay, so if revenues fall, then the schools won't suffer at a greater rate percentage-wise than the others. For example, transit systems would maintain their rate at a higher rate than schools.
No, the schools are at the top of the waterfall.
Thank you, sir.
Schools, Jefferson County is at the top, schools are next, and then it goes, waterfalls down.
Mr. Pels, I have a two-part question, if I may. First part being, what is the estimated amount of sales tax this 1 cent generates per year for the county?
The 1 cent sales tax, I believe, is with this, with the debt service, it will generate under $100 million. I believe it's close to $90 million.
We'll call it 90. What percentage of that 90 million is generated inside the city of Hoover?
I don't know. I don't have that information. I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
I guess the dilemma for us, and you probably are sensing a little bit, you know, we've got a little deficit spending problem, you know, you guys, counties had those issues as well, and a large portion of our deficit spending has been tied to maintaining the programs and opportunities for kids in an environment that has exponentially increased enrollment. And so you couple that with the uncertainty of state and federal funding, well, not going to get into federal funding, state funding going forward, and that's where that's where it becomes again problematic. You know, again based on where we sit or where I sit.
Right.
It's just kind of what it is.
These are tight times. I know the legislators, they have an incredible job ahead of them with the state budgets and what to do, and you know, it's difficult for everyone. And you know, just if we cannot grow the county and unite this county and bring jobs to this county, then we're not going to have the growth. But the faster, the more that we can grow the county, the faster that we can move this county forward with economic development.
Well, I'm not saying this to pander to you or David Carrington or Jimmy Stevens, but you guys and others have done a masterful job in helping right size and manage the county more efficiently, more effectively, and thank you. By the way, you look great.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's great to be here.
Yeah.
In more ways than one.
Yeah.
Any other questions, gentlemen?
Is that
Thank
it?
you, Mr. Patelis.
Oh, well, thank you. And once again, congratulations,
Thank you,
Donna.
sir.
And once again, thank y'all for the opportunity to come before the Hoover School Board.
Thank you.
Donna, this is a single issue that is brought to legislative delegation before you, but it's a wonderful delegation that refused, let me say, Javel Wagner has looked after us from the start of this school system in 1988 and has been a champion of public education at a time when that wasn't easy to do as a Republican. And I just would like the record to show that we're awfully appreciative of what Senator Javel Wagner and you and the board members this year have gone to him on a number of issues and gotten his view on issues, his wisdom, and he's been such a valuable asset to us.
Thank you, gentlemen. Yes, sir, thank you very much.
Next, I would like to introduce my replacement on the board, Jill Gaines-Biggs. Jill, will you stand, please? She will start June 1, if we'll give her a round of applause. Jill, congratulations. Gentlemen, you have the minutes from the regular board meeting of April 13, 2015, and called board meetings of April 14 and 30, 2015. Do I have a motion to approve these minutes?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The minutes are approved. Next item on the agenda would be our personnel actions. The board is pleased at this time. Our first personnel is going to be Dr. Murphy's contract. Dr. Murphy, we are delighted that you could be here with us tonight. At this time, we have Dr. Murphy's contract. Gentlemen, do I have a motion to approve the contract of Dr. Kathy Murphy?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The contract is approved. At this time, Dr. Murphy, if you'd like to step forward, I'm going to get you to sign the contract for us.
You told me it's the first time she's ever seen it.
Thank you very much, and welcome aboard. I'm just saying, I'm not going to get started with you. Now for the remaining personnel actions, do I have a motion to approve the personnel report?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The personnel report is approved. Next is business items. Do I have a motion to approve the business actions?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The business actions are approved. Next is the child nutrition program meal price increase. Do I have a motion to approve the meal increase?
Real quick question. Great explanation about the increase in cost. What about participation? Is it still on the decline?
No, we are actually seeing a small increase.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to approve the meal increase?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is approved. Next for your consideration is the authorization of the summer school program. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The summer school program is approved. We will now consider the budget amendment. Do I have a motion to approve?
Can you, so it doesn't look, Kathy, can you comment a little bit on that? So a little bit fuller understanding for everybody who might be new.
Each
year, we have to have at least one budget amendment in order to true up our funds with the State Department, because the way that you have carryover from one year to the next, and we have to wait until, we don't know that carryover when we do a budget before the end of the fiscal year that we're in. So we have to do an amendment after that end of that fiscal year to then address the carryover pieces, which that's the majority of what this amendment does. So it's a very typical amendment for us. The untypical part of it is that we have included in this amendment funding for our continued rollout of technology in the classroom and some other areas, which Mr. Phillips is here and can speak to. But what we were looking at was a situation where if we did not go ahead and do this amendment, we would be delaying the purchase of the technology until the next fiscal year, which would have been in October, November, before we got that in the students' hands. We tried that last year and decided we could do a better job of that this year. And go ahead and get it in, let our technology people register the equipment, as well as take advantage of pricing that was available at this time. So we chose to go ahead and do that, included in the amendment. When I look at what we spent in 2014 compared to what we spend in 2015, and true that up between the fiscal years, it's about even between those two fiscal years. It's just weighted a little bit more into 15 than into 14.
Thank you, Ms. Ante. Do we have a motion to approve the budget amendment?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The budget amendment is approved. Next on the agenda is the proposed connection access to Jaguar Drive. Who is going to speak on behalf of?
Ms. Frazier,
Yes, sir.
thank you very much. Tim Westhoven with the City of Hoover. We understand that, need to come up here?
Yes, sir, please. And Mr. Long, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Thank you very much. We understand that Signature Homes has offered to make an access out of Kirkman Preserve over to Jaguar Drive should the school board allow that access to take place. We are currently experiencing some issues with their access out of the Caldwell Mill that we believe this access would help alleviate. In return for that, Signature Homes has offered to construct a sidewalk all the way from this access point up to Berry Middle School, which would then provide a pedestrian route for 3 or 4 of those subdivisions that are on the east side of Caldwell Mill Road, a way for a pedestrian to walk all the way to Berry Middle School. Our city engineer has taken a look at the access. We believe it to be a good and safe access, and we would ask for your permission to make that access.
Tim, you can't speak on behalf of Signature, but is it your impression they would entertain the possibility of extending that sidewalk to the intersection of Caldwell Mill and Jaguar Drive?
I can't speak for them, but I believe that short distance, that extra 300 feet or so over to that intersection, I think they would do that.
Mr. Beavers, what would you recommend that the board do at this time?
Madam President, I recommend that the board defer taking action on this until a date be set by this board and allow us an opportunity to see about coming up with the paperwork with details in it so you can see it and then come to a decision.
Okay. A suggestion, for whatever it's worth. We will have, I'm getting ready to ask the gentleman now. There will have to be one more meeting for personnel, which we're trying to schedule for next Tuesday. We're not talking about delaying this to the June board meeting. That would give us about a week for Mr. Beavers to do due diligence and answer any questions that the board may have. Is that a possibility for us to make this decision next Tuesday? I know time is of the essence, I understand that.
It is, and we appreciate that, and absolutely.
Okay.
I believe that would be a very good suggestion, and we appreciate the opportunity that you're offering to have an earlier meeting than the June meeting. One thing that I did forget is that they have, and one thing I think you should want is a gate on your property so that should you decide you want to close that access location, you have that under your control.
Mr. Long, could you speak on the traffic impact in your opinion? I'm not, the public, I guess, understands where this is. It's very close to the intersection of Jaguar Drive and Caldwell Mill Road. It's approximately 160 homes that are.
In the new neighborhood, approximately 100, it is 163, I believe. The traffic impact actually set out there this past week to observe and to see if there are sufficient gaps for this amount of traffic, and there is sufficient gaps. Delays would probably be averaging 30 to 60 seconds stopped on side street during the peak times. There was a few times when there was backups from Caldwell that would delay a little longer than that. But overall, it was a good, I think it's a good, safe intersection. Sight distance is very good, 300 plus feet to the right, over 500 feet to the left. So it's a good, safe location.
We want to point out, as Ms. Frazier said, this is for the safety of the parents and the children that are accessing these schools. This would be, I understand Mr. Beavers explained, will be a license permission to use, not deeding, not long-term lease. This board gets along extremely well with our city government. They've recommended that we do this. The sidewalk has been needed for a long time. We've had mothers and dads too out with their children in the streets with strollers. We have a cross-country team. I've seen them running and run on the street. So there's a real need for a sidewalk to be installed. So we hope that this can be worked out and considered very soon.
I think also it would be noteworthy to note that parents that we have that live in Kirkland that go to Berry Middle School to currently access the school, they have to turn right on Caldwell Mill, go north on Caldwell Mill, make a U somewhere, turn around and come back and turn left on Jaguar Drive.
That's correct. And this would alleviate that.
Mr. Beavers, will this give you enough time if the board is agreeant to try to, we have Crossroads graduation next Tuesday night, so my suggestion to the gentleman is going to be if we could meet here at 5:30 prior to Crossroads graduation, will that give you enough time? Do you think you can get this together in a week?
We'll do our best.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Gentlemen, let's go ahead at this time. I suggest at 5:30 next Tuesday for the personnel, the call meeting for personnel, and we can also address the proposed connection access to Jaguar Drive, 5:30 here at Central Office. Is that a possibility? Okay. Dr. Reeves, you still calling me that? Okay. All right, at this time, is there any information or reports, Dr. Reeves?
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, I'd like to say that I knew that your favorite color was green. That's why I wore blue and red. No, I did not get the memo. I thought it was included. But I want to say this about Ms. Frazier. I know I've only been here, gosh, a little over 4 months. I attended board meetings in the Enterprise City School System from 1985 through 2010, about 25 years. I think I might have missed one regular board meeting. I can honestly say that Donna Frazier is one of the best board members that I have not only had the pleasure of working with, but one of the best board members I've ever seen. And Donna, it's been a pleasure for me to work with you. I appreciate all you have done for this school system and for me personally. It would have been very difficult for me had you not been on this board, and with that I'll thank the other board members as well. It's a great board, and Dr. Murphy, I think you're going to be mighty fortunate to work with this group, and I'm congratulating you again on being selected, and I know you're going to do a terrific job. And Mr. Sweeney, I'd also say that it's been a pleasure working with you as a board attorney. I know I couldn't have made it without you. Board members and Madam President, at the April 13th board meeting, one of our parents expressed concerns about the drop-off point at the rear of Trace Crossing Elementary School, and at this point, I would like to ask Jeff Battles, of our maintenance department, who's head of maintenance, to come forward and give a brief update on where we are and helping with that situation. Jeff?
Well, we've got the new canopy up now. It's completed. We've also put a curb around to kind of define from the grass. I mean, Mr. Presley, you saw it. And we've got field dirt in now. Grass is scheduled to be delivered Wednesday. And hopefully we can get that infield. And the asphalt, we're still we're going to do a little patching on it. We've got some capital improvement money for asphalt system-wide. And we're going to try to redo that with some of that in our program that we got coming up. But everything seems to be on schedule. I know it's a bad time to kind of start it, but they can reuse it. And the fence man should be here tomorrow. So,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. And I would also like to commend Jeff and his staff for terrific maintenance department here in the Hoover City School System. And I've heard several people say that Jeff knows where everything is and knows how to fix everything. Thank you so much, Jeff. And that's all I have as far as report.
Okay. Next, Dr. Dotson, are you making a presentation?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll be brief. I know that we're keeping everyone from a party. If I could bring this right down.
Okay.
Get that.
We need to move.
Might help.
Back in February, I shared some information with you about our achievement and college readiness, and I made the statement at the time that we knew a lot about our college readiness, our academic readiness, but we did not have a lot of data yet about our career readiness. Since that time, we have administered a major assessment, the Work Keys assessment, and this is not one that we're very familiar with. Most of us in the room have probably taken the ACT and similar achievement tests, but most of us probably haven't taken this test. So I wanted to give you a little bit of background about it and then share the scores from our two high schools this year. Ask this question to start with: what percentage of Alabama's adult population has a skills deficit preventing them from succeeding in a career pathway that leads to a middle-income job today? And that answer is 71%. That's a staggering number, but you consider the numbers and the percentage of adults aged 24 to 65 who do not possess a 2-year degree or higher, which is what is considered necessary today to have a living wage at the middle income level. The ACT Work Keys assessment was put in place by the state as part of a sequence of assessments many years ago, and sometimes it takes a long time. You plant trees, but you don't get the shade until years later. Beginning in 2010, across the entire state of Alabama, this class of 2015 was the first to have the opportunity to take the Explorer in 8th grade, the Plan in 10th grade, all leading up to being able to take the ACT with writing in the 11th grade. So hundreds, probably thousands of students in the state who would not have had that opportunity had this not been provided. And now, as they finished out their senior year, being able to take the ACT Work Keys in the 12th grade to speak more to career readiness. The idea is to get as many students as possible to receive the National Career Readiness Certificate. To do that, they have to get passing scores on 3 subtests: applied mathematics, reading for information, and locating information. You can see the emphasis on application. If a student scores high enough, which is a minimum of a 3 in each of these categories, then they receive a bronze level. If they receive at least a 4 in all the categories, it's a silver. 5 gets them gold, and a 6 gets them platinum. The maximum score is a 7. But the key is that's not an average score. That's not a minimum or a maximum score. They have to make that score on all 3 tests. So whichever score they make the lowest number on is what their level will be. What's interesting is if you see out to the right of those categories, you see the job eligibility. That's the percentage of jobs that a student who passes at that level should be ready for nationwide, and the national median pay that goes along with that. The first asterisk there next to the 16% at bronze, 5 years ago, this was 35% of the jobs that were out there. 5 years later, 2015, it's only 16% of the jobs. So that's an indication of what's happening in the economy in terms of more education is needed for workers to be successful, which is all the more important for us to get those kids ready for that. That's why the state has selected the silver level as the benchmark for career readiness in Alabama's Plan 2020 criteria, not the bronze, but the silver. Student who scores at the silver level is eligible for at least 67% jobs in the database, and these jobs include occupations that would require a 4-year degree, a postgraduate degree, doctor, lawyer, surgeon, all of those are in this database as well. I wanted to show you some sample questions just to kind of get an idea of what this test is like. This is a bronze level reading question. It's a memo to the sorting department with instructions on what to do with some metal rods, and the question says, according to the instructions shown, what is a condition for project success other than delivery on time? And you read through the options there. The answer is C, the customer does not want rods that are warped. That's not a direct statement in the memo. You have to infer that from the options that are given. So it does take some thought to get there, even at the bronze level. This is not a find the direct answer to the question that's in there like you might have seen in some tests that are out there. This is a math problem that would be at the silver level. You have a tile floor, it's a 15.5 by 18.5 room. The tiles are square, 12 inches on the side. One box contains enough to cover 25 feet. How many boxes of tiles must you order to complete the job? This question is going to require 2 calculations. It's a multi-step problem. First, you have to calculate the area of the room. Then you have to calculate the area covered by one box, divide one into the other. And then you have to apply some common sense. Most of us would round 11.47 down to 11. But if you're ordering tile for a floor, you can't buy 0.47 of a box. So common sense is you're going to have 12 boxes of tiles. However, ACT tells us that 11 is the most common choice on this question. So just shows you got to think a little bit. This is a locating information question at the gold level. As an airplane pilot, you need to determine the crosswind component of the wind speed to ensure safe takeoff and landings. According to the graph shown, if the reported wind speed is 45 knots at a 20-degree angle, what is the crosswind component in knots? Pretty complicated table to follow here, but you are given an example, and if you follow that example, you know to find the 20-degree wind and then go down to find the crosswind component. It's between 10 and 20, so it must be 15 knots. And then we get to the really hard question. Applied math at the platinum level. The farm where you just started working has a vertical cylindrical oil tank that is 2.5 feet across on the inside. The depth of oil in the tank is 2 feet. 1 cubic foot of space holds 7.48 gallons. About how many gallons of oil are left in the tank? That's the answer. You got to know the volume of the cylinder, find the radius, the height of the oil, use that to calculate the volume, and then convert that by the 7.48 gallons per cubic feet into 73 gallons. That's a tough question. So how did we do in Hoover? Here's our results. First off, we did have a large number of students at Spain Park High School that opted out of the test. So we only had 55% of the population that Spain Park represented. But of the students who took the test, we have a very, very impressive percentage of students who scored overall at the silver, gold, or platinum level. That's the percent on the right where it says percent of class career ready based on work keys. But the percent scoring at the gold and platinum level is impressive to me. That's more than 1 in 3 seniors. And that means that these students walking out of high school have the literacy skills that would prepare them for more than 93% of the jobs that are currently in the market. So that's amazingly impressive. Students can also qualify for to be career ready if they will enlist in the military or earn an industry recognized credential in a career technical education program, which we will have those results once school is finished. A lot of those kids are working on those things now. So just wanted you to see these results. This is a new assessment. It is a tough test. It's not easy, and our kids did amazingly well in it, so I'm very, very proud of their results. Questions? Yes, sir.
Does guessing count against you?
Does what now?
Does guessing count against you?
No, not on this test.
Oh, it's like getting something like that.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Kelly Lane and Brian Phillips.
I've got 85 slides, but I'll cut it to about 20. That's okay. A couple months ago, we came to and talked about the virtual school settings. House Bill 245 addresses that. It's being read again now in the third reading. So we just wanted to come through. She sent you an email this evening discussing some of the things there. Wanted to actually bring up the fact that now it's nothing new. We've been doing it in the past. The new thing that Hoover are doing now that we haven't done in the past is the teachers will teach district kids. So before they only taught specific to Hoover High or Spain Park. Now a teacher at Spain Park will teach kids at Hoover High and Spain Park and vice versa. We've actually have 2 teachers who will be full-time virtual now. The bill actually says that it'll allow a student to go through high school and receive a degree virtually. We will allow, there's a space at those campuses that they will have office spaces and meeting times. The bill also says that it basically states that we need to create policies around this, including how we deliver this, that criteria for eligibility, monitor performance. So if a student falls below a C, we bring them back into a real classroom, let's say virtually, and what the testing attendance looks like along that. The regular student, extracurricular activities still included. We're working through what LMS we use, learning management system, along with Google Apps. Questions?
See this as a big opportunity?
Yes. I mean, if I was a student, yeah, I would jump all over it. I mean, we see other school districts in the state doing this in other ways. Florence is a big one. They have kids who take half and half mix, but a lot of those kids are in the recording industry. So they'll go in the morning and take their art classes at school, go to work all day, and then take their course at night at home. So yeah, I mean, you think some of these kids in the engineering academy, medical academy, they could have a lot of time in the field, in the building. I mean, you know, there's a lot of kids that they don't want to come to that building anyway, so they will see it as a plus for sure. Anything else?
Is this something new for over the mountain area, would you say?
People are doing different mixes of it.
Okay.
We've been doing, this is our third year, Dr. Dodson, our third year of virtual classes completely offered. It's growing, especially with this bill. It'll take off. We're ahead of where the legislature wants to be at this point. I mean, they're talking about just setting the precedents now, and we've kind of passed that point this part. So I think, I mean, in the future, we could have kids, you know, we could have an administrator, that's all they do all day in virtual kids. So.
Is it reasonable to think you could actually export this to, say, Greene County or other district who does not have the capability of doing it?
Yeah, access is what the State Department's used in the past for that. Depends on funding there, how far that goes. But yeah, a lot of those classes can be offered. A lot of our classes can be offered to kids who don't have the opportunity to take Mandarin Chinese or some other version of that. You know, Florida has the entire state is one virtual school, so kids from all over the state can take courses wherever. Anything else?
Thank you, Brian.
Thank y'all.
Melinda?
Hi. Very quickly, we want to bring to everyone's attention a Hoover Community Collaborative that we are working on to meet some hunger needs in Hoover City Schools. We are currently in the Child Nutrition Program serving 48,000 breakfasts and lunch on a full week. So we're taking care of breakfast and lunch, but it's the weekends that we're concerned about when the students are away. Of our total enrollment here in Hoover City Schools, we're at 24.5% that are eligible for free or reduced price meals. 3 of our elementary schools individually are above 45% of those students that qualify for free or reduced meals. So we implemented a universal breakfast at those 3 schools. So every student that comes to school at those 3 receive breakfast at no charge to that student. So we're covering those students. But again, it's the weekends that we're concerned about. And we've already seen the improvements in these students that are getting a breakfast. And we know that when a student is eating well, that their performance is better and their focus is better. In child nutrition, we also see almost every single student in the school, whether they are free, reduced, or paid, or even may bring their lunch. They may come get a milk or something from us. I have cashiers that tell me sometimes it's the student that can pay for their meal, it's what they're qualified for, but will say, I didn't have anything to eat last night, I'm hungry. And so we can identify those students that may have a need that we didn't know about because they were not qualified for free or reduced meals. So there is hunger in the city of Hoover. And we hope that as you look at your school, you don't say, well, my percentage of free or reduced is very low. Well, there is a percentage of free or reduced price students that qualify in every single school. And that school that has only 6% free or reduced price meals, they're just as hungry as the school that has the 45% students that qualify. So tonight, we have some people here in the community that want to share with you their collaboration to develop the backpack program on the weekends. And this is sending food home with the students that qualify or have reached out and said, yes, I'm interested in receiving these foods. We already have some programs in our schools with coordination with some of our local churches. And this is Greg Bishop from Hoover Helps, a nonprofit organization here in Hoover, and he's going to share some more of that.
I appreciate the time. I was alarmed when I started Hoover Helps a few months ago that the percentage of people, children that live in our communities are going home without food on the weekend. This clearly will impact their school performance and a variety of other factors that you can imagine. It's unacceptable. I want to take the first opportunity to recognize all the programs that are currently in place that you may not be aware of. We have representatives, Stephanie and Becky in the back of the room from Green Valley Baptist Church. They've been sponsoring backpack programs for Green Valley Elementary School for almost 8 years. Now, backpack program is where they take a bag of food and slip it in the child's backpack discreetly on Fridays before they go home, so they have some food to eat. And many of the children will actually eat the food on the bus on the way home because they know their circumstances aren't good when they get there and they'll have to share with siblings. So similar programs are being conducted at Green Valley. Bluff Park United Methodist Church is in collaboration with several other churches and are currently helping children at 3 of our elementary schools. Hunter Street Baptist has recently established a relationship with a middle school and also with South Shadecrest to create backpack programs for those schools. And River Chase United Methodist Church has created kind of a partnership with Rocky Ridge Elementary, which is one of the schools that's over 40% free and reduced. So I want to recognize and acknowledge the great work that's already being done, but there are still kids in Hoover that are going hungry. And you think of a long weekend, you know, what happens to them during a long weekend, and we can clearly do a much better job. The mission of my organization, Hoover Helps, is to take the unmet needs in the community and match them up with the resources we have in our community. In many cases, faith-based organizations are willing to help. In many cases, they don't know how to help. So we're going to connect the dots and try to help match people up with some of the schools that really need to establish backpack programs. To better describe how kind of a backpack program works, I'd like to invite Dr. Zwade and Dr. Richardson. He's associate pastor at River Chase United Methodist Church. Dr. Zwade is the principal of Rocky Ridge, and they're in the process of starting a backpack program in partnership. Thank you for having us tonight. So this is what a backpack looks like and what we'll be providing at Rocky Ridge starting in September. Like Mr. Bishop said, there are many different backpack groups out there and different ways to do it. We have chosen to partner with the Food Bank of Central Alabama that is currently providing this program in 35 different schools across a 5-county area. And we chose to go with them, not to try to do it ourselves, but to partner with them. What they do is work with nutritionists at UAB, and they put together a cost-effective sack of food like this that can easily be slipped into the child's backpack. It costs about $4.50 per week for one of these bags. So at River Chase Methodist, we have decided to challenge each of the households at the church to see if they could come up with enough money to feed a child for a year at Rocky Ridge. That breaks down to about $180 for the entire school year. So that's 40 weeks. There are other programs that cover the kids' needs, nutritional needs in the summer, government programs and so forth. We would like to pursue that further sometime in the future, but for now we're going to work on the school year. And what we've been talking about right now is making this a community-wide initiative. I think that Mr. Bishop and I share the same dream of having this program available for every school in the school district in Hoover. I think that that's a possibility. I think that we're close to the halfway there point in terms of the number of schools that are being covered by this program or similar ones. And there will be others starting up very soon. We've also had conversations with Trace Crossings, and I know that Mr. Bishop and his organization are eager to pass the word, and I hope that some folks tonight here also might take an interest in this and get in contact with Hoover Helps, or I'd be happy to talk with anybody further. But we'd like to see this spread in different community organizations, houses of worship, and so forth. But it is a very exciting opportunity to be able to partner with Rocky Ridge, and in Rocky Ridge and Dr. Zwade, we found a very willing participant to join us in this initiative, which, as I said, will begin in September. Dr. Zwade?
Thank you. I'll keep this short, like me. I guess I just want to say thank you to these gentlemen and their organizations who have really dedicated their time and their effort to bring us all together to solve an issue in our school. As you already heard, we do have a very high free and reduced rate of 48% this year at Rocky Ridge. That went from the 30s to 48 this year, which is quite a large gain. It just tells us that there is a need. But what I really like about this particular program is that those who can receive the food are not necessarily students who are free and reduced. And I think that is so important. And just to put a personal story with this, there was a very dark time in my life as a kid when my father lost his job. And we did not really qualify for free and reduced at the beginning of the school year. And I don't think they even knew that they could apply for something like that. But there was a time in my life when it was bread, butter, and sugar. That's what we lived on. And so I know, having talked to students, having talked to parents in our community, there are people who do not qualify for free and reduced, but have gone through periods of time when they really would have benefited from a program like this. So I'm very proud and excited to work with these gentlemen to help those students and families in need. We're probably looking at about, 10 to 15 probably kids who would qualify. And by the way, how you qualify, what's it called, Tyler?
There is a list of, an assessment list, a set of criteria for food insecure children.
Right, so there's a list of food insecurity items that teachers or others would be able to fill out to be able to identify some of these kids who need the help, which I think is going to be really great. When I talked to the teachers at our school, they thought this was one of the best initiatives for some of our kids, and we're very excited about it. So excited to move forward with them. Thank you.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yes, sir.
You or Melinda, the one. From a school perspective, when some child says something to a lunchroom lady and all that, and clearly the need is out there, and you never know the depth of the need. But at what point does this become a DHR issue and indicative of something perhaps more severe than the fact that the kid came to school hungry or goes home. Where's the tipping point between the real situation and the real situation?
That's a great question. I think sometimes when we look at, we go by case basis, I would say. And in most of those cases, the parents are working very, very hard to provide for their kids. It's not that they are trying to harm them. You know, they will scrape together money whenever they can to bring it in to the school. We also have a lot of folks within our school community who will literally provide for those kids out of their own pockets to make sure those kids have what they need. But in the instances I can think of this year, I can't say that any one of those would have really been a DHR situation where the family was truly neglecting their child. That's just from this year.
I have an example. It was back when I was at Hoover High School. There was a student that he was owing money, and we have a cap. And I kept giving him a free and reduced application, and he wouldn't bring it back. No one would fill it out. And this became an issue because it was a high school. I just finally said, you're going to have to borrow some money from a friend or something. You're just going to do something. But we continued to see he didn't have friends. And I talked to the counselor there, and we got Wayne Smith involved. And long story short, he was homeless. So yes, there can be an opportunity for that child nutrition worker to start wherever it may lead, but start the process.
Thank you, Dale. Thank you, Melinda.
We have copies.
Okay.
We have copies of all the supporters, the program supporters, the churches, and contact numbers and names, and we'll have those if anyone would like a copy.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bishop. Is there any other new business for tonight? If not, do we have any public participation? John Lida, welcome.
Thank you. I apologize for being late. I'm John Lida with the Hoover City Council. Had a planning and zoning meeting that ran a little late, and I know I missed the knighting ceremony where we knighted you, I hope, for your service to Hoover. But I would be remiss, Donna, if I didn't come and just offer my appreciation on behalf of the Hoover City Council and the city of Hoover. You know, over 10 years, when you look back at your tenure, you were dealt with more tough decisions than most people deserve. But decisions you always made with the best interest of Hoover students at heart. And if I can stand here at the end of each of your tenures and say the same about you, I would say that's a resounding success. So Donna, I tip my hat to you. We thank you for all you've done for Hoover City Schools and Hoover. And we hope we haven't seen the last of you.
Thank you, John.
Take you a break, but you can't retire.
Thank you. Any other public participation tonight? If not, it's time for board elections. Mr. Sweeney? Oh, Mr. Sweeney, hold on 1 second. Jeremy? Oh, are you the young man that did my piece of art? This, but I'm an art collector. So, guys, y'all really may want to. Thank you, I appreciate it very much. Is this your mom?
Yes, ma'am.
Introduce your mom.
I'm Carolyn Martin.
Very talented young man. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. That's something that will be very special to me for a very long time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sweeney?
Before going to the elections of officers, let me just commend the city council. You heard tonight at least 2, maybe 3 of the board members say, from where I'm sitting, I need to share this view. What you've done with the last appointments is to find people that want to serve the Hoover School Board, not as a stepping stone, but as the most important civic opportunity and responsibility and you have done just a commendable job with the appointments that you have. It is a wonderful board, so thank you. Alec Code 1611.5 says at the annual meeting of May, we have to elect two positions, president and vice president, and affirm that the superintendent will serve as the official secretary of the board. So at this time, I open the floor for nominations for the office of president.
Madam President, I would like to nominate our current Vice President, Mr. Derek Murphy, to serve as President of the Hoover City Board of Education.
Mr. Murphy has been nominated. Are there any other nominations for the position of president? Hearing no other nominations, I ask that the board accept the nomination of Derek Murphy as president of the Board of Education. I'll ask for a roll call vote. All in favor? Craig?
Aye.
Carol? Stephen?
Aye.
Derek?
Aye.
Donna?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Congratulations, Derek Murphy.
All right.
For the position of vice president, the floor is open for nomination.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Stephen Preston, the Vice President.
Stephen Presley has been nominated for the position of vice president. Are there any other nominations? Hearing no other nominations, I ask for a call vote for to appoint Stephen Presley as vice president of the Hoover Board of Education. Craig?
Aye.
Earl?
Aye.
Stephen?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Donna?
Aye.
Congratulations, Stephen. Louise, if you'll let the minutes show that the board affirms again that the superintendent serves as its official secretary for all official matters. Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you, Mr. Sweeney. The next regularly scheduled board meeting will be June the 15th. Thank you to everyone for coming tonight. I know it's been a long meeting, but thank you very much. If there's nothing else, this meeting is adjourned.
Mr. Lyda.